Let's try that again. Beautiful. There's only 4 people watching. That's great. So Paul's just saying you've got your microphone muted. Very good. Welcome, everyone, to the Fan Cams. We're off to a flyer. I was just saying this is the first ever fan cams that we've had on the channel. So, we thought we'd do it just after the grand final, and we'll maybe see how we go with the format. Not off to a great start, as I said, but hopefully we'll be able to bring it together to next year, and maybe have some after the games and things like that. But yes, so the grand final, run and won, Collingwood by 4 points over Brisbane in what many people are saying was an all-time classic, really. I'm not saying it was the best grand final ever. I'm not going to go that far. But I think it was one of probably the top 5 in my lifetime, the ones that I've seen on the telly. I rated it pretty highly. I thought it was a great game. Shame about the finish. I won't cover that, but I'm sure someone on the fan cams might sort of touch on it a little bit. A bit of a shame that how it ended with the umpiring decisions. But anyway, so who have we got on the chat so far? Let's bring in our first. He's a regular on the show. He's a co-host with the most, Mr. Paul James. Welcome, Paul. How you going?
Hey, I'm all right, you?
Thank you for the microphone awareness alert.
I was starting to. Can he actually see me as I'm sitting here waving my arms around? But we got there. Yeah. So I guess the grand final, right? The umpiring sucked. This whole week, and I like the outcome when it comes to Brownlow in terms of like how we got there with some of the various dodgy decisions along the way, culminated in some shoddy umpiring on the day as well. So just not a good week for the umps.
Not a great
and for
week.
The rest of us now have to endure Collingwood supporters for the next 12 months.
Oh, mate. And are they going to... I don't know. It's already started. As soon as a team other than Geelong wins it, straight away I'm off them. I hate them. I can't wait till they go away and become irrelevant all over again. But, mate, take us through your grand final day first. What did you do? Where did you watch it? And who did you watch it with?
Me, myself, and I, for the most part. I had the house largely to myself for chunks of the day, and I was doing we've got a bit of paint work needing to be done to the house at the moment. We've had the roof recently sprayed. I'm now doing garage doors and all those sorts of things to match it. So spent a lot of time just early in the day, and even during like the quarter time and halftime breaks, just getting out the front and working on doors and working on gutters and all sorts of stuff. So it wasn't necessarily the most exciting of days. It wasn't a very sociable day. Okay. My youngest sister had I don't know, a hens of some sort today anyway, over at the family house. So yes. My parents took on my kids yesterday to kind of help blow up balloons and do all sorts of fun little things with them yesterday to help, which gave me a little bit of breathing room to sit and watch the game in peace and to be able to swear exactly as I felt I needed to. But
which was very loudly at the end. Did you swear loudly during the Charlie Cameron goal to put the Lions in front, or the Bears, as I've been going with?
We'll see. At that point of the game, I'd already returned to my parents' place to come pick up the kids. So okay. I had both my parents, but also my children around me. So I dialed things back there, but the hands just slipped between the eyes as the umpire made that horrific advantage call, which, to the letter of the rules, sure, no worries. But the long established thing that is, it's weird because people have and they've all been Collingwood supporters, of course, have quite rightly pulled out the rule book and said, well, here's the thing for advantage. If you try and play on, and the umpire calls it, it's not about whether it's an effective, like a useful advantage or anything like that. It's just, did you try and take advantage? And to the letter of the rules, he did. But the reality is, in the way the whole thing has been umpired for, let's say at the bare minimum, a decade, because I think that's a pretty comfortable window, is if there is actually an advantage to be taken, then the umpire will allow it. And there was no advantage in what was produced by Zach Bailey in that moment. And so the umpires completely butchered it. And look, let's not kid ourselves. Lachie Neale may have missed a target. He might have had a try and had a shot from 60 and wouldn't have made the distance. We're not saying that they would have guaranteed gotten a goal, but it certainly wouldn't have gone the way it did.
Yeah, I think if they maybe had a 1 in 10 chance of getting, it's just the fact getting 1 in 10 chance of having a shot at it, having a shot at goal. But
yes, exactly.
That's so based on your forward entries and your efficiency and all that sort of stuff. But it's just a shame that's the way it had to end, because it was an absolute all-timer, really.
It's a, as 78K speech says in the comments. So you can't, like, especially if you're a Brisbane supporter, you can't really blame the umpires. At the end of the day, there was 30 shots on goal to, let's say 21, 22, 23, whatever it was. Like, the Pies really should have won by more. Was it 12 so 30 shots to 21. So Brisbane were efficient going forward. The Pies less so, but ultimately the Pies probably deserve to win regardless. It's a fascinating what if at this particular point now. But we can say that you've spoken. There's classic grand finals and those things. What if Leo Barry didn't take that mark? What if Matty Scarlett didn't quite get the toe poke right? All that, like, there's so many of those sorts of things. So if you're a Brisbane supporter, it's obviously going to be a hard pill to swallow, but you should have just got it and won it sooner. That's the reality of it, I guess.
What if Jared Berry?
Well, what if he wasn't a clown? Penalty? What if he wasn't an absolute clown? What a hack! Let's dead set. I wish I could be a fly on the wall for his exit meeting. just for someone to sit in the game and go, mate, you just cost us a grand final. Get out there and work like you've never worked before, champ.
We forgave you for the 50 metres you gave away earlier, but goodness me. And then credit to...
Their best shot on goal in steel side bottom. Within range.
Credit to him. He did what he needed to do, and Collingwood are just a fantastic... They're an amazing team. They as soon as they got behind, they just found a way to hit the front again. Brisbane just drove me nuts. I mean, I made a comment about it on the match recap video I posted earlier today. Just that after the Charlie Cameron goal and the ball up again, it was just 10 Brisbane players, I reckon there were, that just didn't seem interested in. They thought the game had already been won, and I'm just watching them like, what are you doing? And then, sure enough, Nick Dacos gets it to De Goey, and De Goey's not going to miss from 48 metres out. And it's just the way it was.
That's his sweet spot. That is his sweet spot, running into 50 and having a shot from 40 plus.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, as I said, I think it was one of the all-timers at that point, and it still was probably a top 5. You could have almost had it in the top 3 if it wasn't for that little thing at the end there with the umpiring and all that. And you mentioned before, what ifs of what if Tommy Hawkins, the umpire saw him hit the post in the 09 grand final.
It would have been a 7-point play. They would have called the behind. It would have been cut off on the way back in, and we would have kicked another goal and won by an extra point.
Well, we'll see. What was your highlight from the game, mate? What did you? I mean, the finish. Personally, I felt the fourth quarter was a bit underwhelming, and maybe people won't agree with me on that. But...
Oh no, see, I wouldn't agree. It was underwhelming. Like, it really had the theatre and whatnot that I think we're hoping for from a grand final. Again, like the final end, the way it concluded in the last 90 seconds or so, not ideal. Let alone the actual net result, which is horrendous for any non-Collingwood supporter for the next 12 months to have to endure this crap. I'm going to go back to work tomorrow, and I'm going to have to contend with some of the most obnoxious teenagers in the world for the next quite a while.
For the next little while, 6 months or something. Can we come back next year? I'm sure we'll talk about it on a video.
We'll definitely have our opportunities to chat about it. Obviously, trade week and the draft, all those sort of things are coming up. Yeah. There's, Geelong's really digging the heels when it comes to Asava. So, how Port gets that one done is going to be really fascinating as well.
They just need to give us a first-round pick and Ollie Wines, and it's done. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, the Ollie Wines thing's just kind of popped up out of nowhere, but I don't know what we could actually offer.
I don't know. We'll end up getting nothing for him, I'm sure. We'll get a future first-rounder or who knows, something like that, I'm sure. Mate, any other thoughts from the game? What did you? Any other things you liked or you got frustrated with? But it was missing a bit of job.
I get frustrated with Eric Hipwood. What? Oh, yeah. Speaking like I called Jared Berry a hack, but Eric Hipwood. I don't know how much you're earning, mate, but you should probably give about 3/4 of it back because you're playing like someone who's about 3/4 of an AFL level, like only a quarter of an AFL level standard player. It's like. He's one of the most fair weather players I think I've ever seen. And he proved it on grand final day. Yep. And I'd have to double check the results for the other finals as well. Maybe I'm forgetting Yeah, I mean, the prelim was a tight, contested game for the most part, and they really had to earn it. What did he do there? Did he kick? That's right. He kicked that one goal to finally get Brisbane on the board. So, okay, there we go. One goal to Eric Hipwood there. Let's just check. I'm ready to test strips through this bloke. He's useless. Absolutely useless. They won straight through. So it's just, here we go. So they smashed Port. So you watch, he'll kick 6 goals because he's a flat track bully. Eric Hipwood. Kick 1 goal 3. So we've had there's been a bit said about Charlie Curnow over the course of the finals, but Eric Hipwood has played an extra game and done worse. So yeah. Anyway,
what are you going to do? What are you going to do, mate? Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know we've lost an hour today. I'm not happy about that with daylight savings. If you are living in Victoria or
New South,
not every state has daylight savings, but we've lost an hour. But we do gain an hour of daylight, which is nice. But the day has got away from us a little bit.
If it makes the Brisbane players and supporters feel any better, especially the ones that live up north, you've got an extra hour to soak it in because you didn't adjust to daylight savings.
Exactly. That's nasty. Have a good weekend, mate.
For an extra hour. Enjoy, everyone. Have a good time.
Take care. All right, who we got? I think we've got Foxy waiting here very patiently. I'll get him on. Hopefully his microphone's unmuted. There we go. I think.
Hey.
How you going, mate?
Good, thank you.
How have you been? How was your grand final day? And did you pick the result? I can't remember what you went for, or if I heard.
I went Brisbane, but that didn't get up, unfortunately.
No, I think I went Brisbane as well by 28 and got the Norm Smith wrong and got the first goal wrong, so I didn't get anything.
I reckon Brisbane should have won it if that free kick wasn't paid advantage.
You reckon Brisbane would have won it? I mean, I was saying to Paul before. I think,
they would have at least hit the front again.
Yeah. What did you think of? Do you think that was the wrong? I think most of us would agree, except probably Collingwood supporters. I think most of us would say the wrong decision. But do you have some? Do you have some sympathy for the umpire in that situation? That
It's a tough game to call. To make decisions for.
Yeah. How did you watch the grand final? Were you at home? Did you catch it?
I was at my dad's place up in Shepparton watching it with my step family.
Very nice, very nice. And what was the weather up like there? It was down south. It was about 30, but it would have been a bit hotter up in Shep. You would have thought.
About the same as in Melbourne, which was 28.
Okay, that's not too bad. What did you think about? We've spoken about the advantage decision, and we can probably talk about that for the next 6 months. Every chance we get to talk to a Collingwood supporter, we can talk about how that's not really a premiership. There'll always be an asterisk on that one. But what did you think about some of the? Tell me about who you think some of the heroes of the day were, and maybe some of the villains in your mind. Who do you think really stood up when it counted, and who do you think probably let themselves down under the spotlight of a grand final?
Well, Paul James already said Eric Hipwood let himself down, and I would have to agree. He just absolutely shanked that kick from 50.
He's not Dom Shee, that's for sure.
Yeah. Heroes, as much as it pains me to say it, probably he's both a hero and a villain. Nick Dacos, hero for Collingwood, villain for everyone else.
So he was getting all the head-high free kicks that Toby Green wasn't getting. Poor old Toby Greens must be watching this on grand final day, just shaking his head, thinking, what was happening? Sure, maybe the umpires had a chat and said, oh, shit, we probably need to start paying the high free kicks again.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, well, you can't. I mean, yeah, I'm glad. I don't know. Do you feel like overall the umpires, I should point out, that did a good job, or was it maybe leaning one way or another? Do you think the crowd might have?
They just put the whistle away, in my opinion.
Yeah, or just paid advantage at the end.
Yeah.
it looked like
it wasn't too bad, apart from that one decision.
Yeah, the one decision. There was some. I mean, there's always mistakes in a game of footy. Umpires, players, they always make mistakes, and there was probably more than just that decision as well. There's a bloke. I've got a bloke coming on here from, I think it's the Brisbane Lions fancast. Who will probably, hopefully, he's calmed down a little bit, but I'll get him on in a minute. But be interesting to hear his take on it, Foxy, as to how he's feeling about the result in the end, and what the overall, I guess, the umpires. And you can boil it, you can just narrow it down to one decision, but a game involves much more than that, I suppose. Have you ever? I'll ask you one or two more before I let you go, mate. Have you ever seen a player in a grand final catch a plastic bag simultaneously while making a football? Have you ever seen that before?
No, didn't have that on my bingo card.
I can believe that. What is going on here? But you do see some crazy things on grand final day. And lastly, what do you think of? I don't know if you heard this one, but what do you think of the name of Craig McRae's new baby daughter that was born about 7:30 in the morning? I don't know if you heard the name, but he named her Maggie.
Oh, why?
I don't know.
Just because you're in Collingwood now, you have to name it.
Yeah.
After that, I think that's quite a bad name, in my opinion.
The concern I have is that if, as happens to most coaches, the relationship ends badly, a bit like other relationships. But if it ends badly, you've got a daughter named Maggie for the rest of your life or the rest of her life. So,
yeah.
No. Anyway, I wonder. Yeah, who knows, mate? Thanks for jumping on the chat. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're a champion, and we love the support you give the channel. So thanks for everything you give us, and hopefully you'll hang around and keep watching the channel next year when we do more of these. And we'll start off the show with my microphone turned on. That'll be great.
Well, you let me go. I got something to say.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Last time Collingwood won a flag, Geelong won the year before. The year after, Geelong won. 2010 was Collingwood, the year before 2009, and then the year after 2011. So we'll see what happens. Yep.
It's an omen. It's an absolute omen, mate. So you're saying we're guaranteed to win it next year?
I'm not saying guaranteed, but it's strongly in our favour.
I'm hearing you saying guaranteed, Foxy. That's what I'm hearing. That's all. You're guaranteeing it?
Yeah, guaranteed.
I'm going to clip this little 30-second bit. Nah, all good. No, it's an interesting stat, though, isn't it, mate? So I really, really appreciate that. Thanks for jumping on the show, mate. We'll hang around, though, because we've got an interesting guest jumping in a minute, mate. Take care, buddy.
You too.
All right. Now I'm bringing in. Unfortunately, how you going? Welcome to the channel. How's things, JB? How you feeling? Can you hear me? Okay?
I've definitely been better.
Yeah. Are you in agreement with the?
I'm getting a little bit of lag. I'm not sure if that's on your end or my end or. Look, I'm trying. Trying not to think about it at all. To be honest, I'm trying to. Already am, I guess.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to take when you lose a game by that close a margin, and to realise it's another 12 months away if you're good enough to make it back to the grand final again. Do you think you're going to get there, and do you think it'll be a different story next time around?
Oh, I sure hope so. I mean, I think that's been the overwhelming feeling since yesterday. Is like, oh man, we've got to reload, and it's another 12 months before we can even potentially get anywhere close to this again. There's another 24 rounds of home and away season. we had it all lined up with the home finals, pretty good run with injuries, bar Jack Payne. Like, it was all there. Might not get the good luck again next year. I mean, we'll get Will Ashcroft back, and it's going to be a long 12 months, and hopefully the pain of yesterday is enough to spur the boys on. That's for sure. There'll be a few players that are going to have some hard conversations and some sleepless nights, I imagine.
Speaking of sleepless nights and some players with some hard conversations, do you think Jared Berry got much sleep last night after giving away that 50-metre penalty?
Oh, 2 from Bez as well. I would imagine he's going to be having a good hard look at himself in the mirror. There'll be a few in that as well. There were a lot of players well below their best yesterday. Hipwood had a mare. Rayner was nowhere near his best. It was probably one of his poorer games. Darcy Wilmot was poor. Ryan Lester, he's going to be having nightmares about Bobby Hill, as will Brandon Starcevich, as will I, as will most Lions supporters. So there's a few players that will want to redo yesterday. But yeah, Bez in particular, he just didn't do anywhere near good enough job of trying to disguise those 50s at all. There was no footy nous in them at all. It was just, I'm going to come in late and make it as obvious as I can. And, well, we saw what happened.
And I don't think you could expect that someone like a Steel Sidebottom's going to just dob it from 55 metres, 56 maybe. He'll probably call it 60 metres in 10 years' time when he's retired. But that was a cracking goal. You probably can't. I don't think you're probably at the point where you can accept the fact that it was one of the all-time great goals. But as a neutral fan watching the game, mate, that is the stuff you dream about as a kid, and to execute that in a few minutes was incredible. Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever.
How did you?
Sorry, I missed all of that. It just kept breaking up there.
So I was about to say, how did you find Zach Bailey's first quarter? Because we haven't talked about him yet. I thought he kicked couple of absolute crackers. I think we've got some issues with the lag a little bit at the moment. Not coming through as great as what we probably hope it would.
Yeah, Bales. As the atmosphere yesterday was really good, but as far as the game went, I did not enjoy very much of it. There was a lot of very nervous people around it wasn't a full quarter performance, but he certainly lit the ground up, and there was a bit of a worry, especially after last week when we got off to that poor start, and then Collingwood put through the first 2 that we can't let this happen. So to have those goals come through in the first quarter, and it was just an arm wrestle that never really looked likely for us.
It wasn't great at that point, really, was it? There's one bloke that was really frustrating me, again, as a neutral, and as in your mob, that really just every time he touched it, something went wrong. Cam Rayner, I almost picked him to win the Norm Smith before the game. I thought he absolutely played terribly. I couldn't believe how bad he was going. What did you think of his game?
I'm going to try and just see if I can connect to a different Wi-Fi, if that's going to make any difference here.
You're up. G'day, Pommy. How you going? We've got Pommy just joined us in the chat as well. Feel free to jump in, Pommy, and let us know your thoughts on how the game went and Similar question. Any heroes and villains from the day? There's always a few.
I think we're good now. Sorry, mate.
Looks much better, mate. Yeah, Cam Rayner. What do you reckon? Did you? Oh, he did my head in. He's doing my head in.
Once more, who was doing your head inside? Serious lag on my end. That's probably on me.
That's all right, mate. I think it's just talk, and I'll try not to sort of ask you too many questions. Just let me know how you thought the game played out, and all good, and I'll stop jumping in.
Yeah, well, as I said, I think Collingwood were just like their defensive setup. They just didn't allow us to get our game going at any point. And, the questions leading into the game with McStay going out, are they going to be able to inside 50? Turns out, yes. Bobby Hill is a fairly decent target inside 50. They had contributors to go and put through a few, wound back the clock, and played one of the great grand finals, especially that second half in his last quarter. We just couldn't get any sort of fluid ball movement. Their use out of the centre, like I think it sort of broke even in clearances, but the way they used it out of clearing those, if you want to kick a score against Collingwood, that they get their ball movement and go from the sort of in between the back 50 and the centre circle, and we just kept getting those shallow entries.
Yeah, it wasn't really clicking, was it? Mate, I think this lag's probably going to be a bit of an issue for us. It's probably about 7 seconds or 8 seconds lag, and it's even when it's coming through, it's not coming through fantastic. So we might have to leave it there, unfortunately, unless something sort of changes in the next couple of seconds or so. But it's a bit of a shame, but but I really do appreciate you jumping on, and I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you.
Yeah, hopefully you don't get the same issue with anyone else.
No, hopefully not. Mate, I'll let you go. Thanks for jumping on, and we'll catch you. Hopefully we'll catch you next year on some stage. We'll get you back on, and especially when the Cats play the Lions, and hopefully we play you down our way and we can smash you. That'd be great. Appreciate you, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No worries. Take care. It's a bit of a shame, yeah. That's a bit of a. Sometimes we get these lag issues, but that's okay. If anyone else wants to jump in the chat, I've put the link. I think I can figure out a way to pin the link somehow. It's up on the screen anyway. If you want to just click that, or just look in the chat. I think we've put it in there as well. But yeah, look, some more thoughts of mine. The second quarter was fantastic. I love a high scoring grand final, and that's what I was hoping to get before the game, that we would see lots of goals being kicked. Not only were we seeing lots of goals being kicked, that was absolutely incredible goals. I touched on before, talking to JB, the couple of the Zach Bailey goals. One where he got it on the boundary line, sort of straightened up, and those things, that's bloody hard to do, that goal, and I didn't think he was going to kick it. Jesus, I was shocked when it went through. Didn't think that was going through at all. And then somehow he gets around two Collingwood players for his second goal, just bends it around. I'm like, they are on. They are. I mean, they started off pretty shocking, but goodness me, they came home hard at the end of the first quarter. And I think, oh, here we go, Collingwood. You're not going to do it again, are you? Just like in 2018 when you got out to a flyer against West Coast and they pegged you back, and then you got in front again and you choked it. But at the end, yeah, they got up and down. I said that 11 goal second quarter. I think 6 goals to Brisbane and 5 goals to Collingwood was just that's just great footy. That's what you love to see, don't you? You just love to see high scoring and so many lead changes. Don't quote me, but I think it was like 9 or 10 all up for the whole game. Incredible stuff, really, just beautiful. Just a shame the umpire had to do it, but that, but yeah, the Degoe goal. I mean, he kicked a couple of great goals, but that one just at the end, just to put him in front again. I think I was just maybe I was more frustrated, and sometimes when I watch footy, I get more frustrated than anything, and I can't enjoy the good play from the teams. So I was more frustrated with the way Brisbane allowed that goal to Degoe straight after getting in front than I was about the Degoe goal, which was just incredible. And then more frustrated about the 50-metre penalty given away by Berry, which allowed Steele Sidebottom to get within. Well, I didn't think he was within scoring distance. I thought it was going to be touched on the line, but he kicked it to the second or third row in the end. Absolutely smacked it, got all of it, absolutely clobbered it, and that was just incredible. But even I think, like, Charlie Cameron, he won that one-on-one contest to put him in front. It was incredible. I didn't think he wasn't having the greatest day, I don't think, but somehow he found a way to get that one, just get it on his boot, just to get it and keep it in front of him, and somehow got through for a goal. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then to give it up so quickly was just that sucked. But then they got another goal back through Joey Danaher, who got it from Hugh McCluggage on the boundary line there, which I think he was out. I don't know what other people thought of that one. They didn't show an angle of it. And I still haven't seen an angle of it. I think we got all caught up in the last couple of minutes of the game, but it would have been good to see an angle of that. He looked like he was out to me, but anyway, he centered it, and Joey Danaher got the ball, and off he went. He was loving it, and then I thought, here we go, we've got something here. Sidebottom's goal was crazy. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for joining us, Andy. And then I thought they're a chance here. They're a chance, but unfortunately, fortunately for Collingwood supporters, if you're watching this show, your team is just absolutely incredible at holding on in those close games. They know how to do it. They train for it, as they talk about, and they tell you all about it. But they found a way, and they found a way to do it for 3 finals all through September. They won 3 finals by a total of 12 points. It was an incredible. I mean, it reminded me of, it's a different style, but they reminded me of Sydney, the way they won it. I think they might have lost a close one to West Coast in 2005, and they beat us in the semi-final. Nick Bloody Davis. I can't remember what happened in the prelim that year, but then they got up over West Coast in that final by 4 points. So I'd have to go back and look at the stats on that one. If anyone's in the chat that knows that, who they won the prelim final in 2005 against and how much they won it by. But that was another one where it was just three wins. Absolutely incredible. Andy, thanks, mate. I really enjoyed the final series. Yeah, loved it. Would have been great if Geelong was in it, but you can't be there every year, unfortunately. It's a bit embarrassing. That's probably how I feel about this year for the Geelong. I feel like we should have at least been in it. And I didn't think we were gonna win it the whole thing, but to not even make the finals, just embarrassing. After being so dominant last year, 16 on the trot and capping it off with the premiership, and on that magical day where we just went bonkers and everything. You couldn't have scripted it any better that day. It was just incredible, that one. If anyone else wants to jump in the chat, let me know. I'll give it a couple more minutes and then I'll wrap it up. If you want to jump back in, or if you want to jump on, you haven't been on before, and if you want to jump in, just click the button. If you've got a camera up there, just there's a little link somewhere at the top. I'll try and post a link again if I can. Here we go. Where is it? Where did I put the link? Beautiful. Just here. Yeah, so if you want to jump in, just let me know your thoughts on the game. That's great. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up in a couple of minutes, and we'll see how we go. But it was a bit of, as I say, at the top of the show, this is a bit of a test run. We're sort of keen to do this type of thing most weeks, or pretty much every week, really. After every Geelong game in 2024, we want to not do it on a Sunday night. Most of our shows normally are on a Sunday night. Pommy, join. And Jared's Foxy saying, Pommy, join, please. But we normally do the show, a live show, recently on a Sunday night. which is a little. You can be 3 or 4 days after the game in some cases. So Paul and I are pretty keen to do more live stuff next year, just after the game, or within a few hours of the game anyway, when the blood's boiling or we're still ecstatic, we're still excited, rather than, it may not always be possible. Paul and I have both got families and commitments and so forth, but we'll do what we can when we can. But it'd be good to get you in the chat. If you want to join in, we'll post a link in the chat, and we'll get some regulars on as well to hear what they've got to say. We may even, if we're lucky enough, use some of our connections at the club. We're building some connections at the club. We're not that well connected, but we're getting there slowly. We might even be able to get some players or some people involved with the club on. That'd be great. It'd be nice to, a bit like, I don't know if they're allowed to with the contractual situations with Channel 7 and all that, but it'd be nice to get a player on. That'd be the dream, wouldn't it? To say, how's it going? Like Tui, what happened? What happened, mate? Where did it all go wrong? Oh, we wouldn't smash him like that, but yeah, to be able to have that kind of access to players would be great if we could make it work. Anyway, I think that'll do for tonight, guys. Just a quick one. Thank you for joining in. It's been fun having a chat about the grand final. It's just a shame the Cats weren't there, and we'll put a little pin in that one for tonight. Thanks everyone, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. See ya.